Welcome everyone. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Welcome everyone. If you could please all come a little closer together. It's a holiday celebration. It's a time where we gather. We get close together to each other with unity, with love, with respect. Also a technical reason, I don't have my full voice. It's the 6th night of the holiday, so with so many events, we start to run hoarse. We shall begin. Thank you everyone for joining us. This has become an annual tradition. This is our 5th annual police lighting at the Menorah lighting at the police station. Started 5 years ago before COVID with the previous chief, Scott Whitney, who actually participated yesterday in his new capacity at the government center in Ventura at a menorah lighting that took place there. And then Chief Benitez continued the tradition. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it this year, but he sends his best. And we're in good hands with the 2 assistant chiefs. It takes 2 assistants to fill in for 1 chief, so you're doing great. Thank you. Thank you, Assistant Chief Williams and Assistant Chief Morehouse. Appreciate everyone coming and joining us. So many of you might be familiar with what Hanukkah is. To make a long story short, this was in the 2nd century BCE, so we're going back almost 2,200 years ago. The Jewish people in their homeland, that's the land of Israel. The land of Israel was promised by God in Genesis, in the first book of the Bible, to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the forefathers of Judaism, that it would be given to the Jewish people as an everlasting inheritance. And that's the Jewish people's connection to the homeland, in case you were wondering. You hear things in the news. This is the historical fact, and thank God the Jewish people are now living, many of them are living in the homeland. Unfortunately, still under challenging times. But the challenge at the time was that the Syrian Greeks ruled the land of Israel. This was following Alexander the Great. And at first, under Alexander the Great, they were respectful of the Jewish people's traditions. They had their temple in Jerusalem where they were able to freely worship. But unfortunately, in the subsequent generations, the Assyrian Greeks, known as the Hellenists, they were not comfortable with the Jewish people following their traditions, shockingly, in their own homeland and in their own temples. And they sought to assimilate them spiritually. Eventually, there was a small band of Jews that says, we're not going to let this happen. We're going to make sure our traditions continue. And it led to a war because eventually they wanted to physically eradicate the Jewish people in the homeland. Now, I want you to pause for a second and think about the United States of America, this country that we're blessed to live in, and the police officers, also known as peace officers, represent the government. This country was founded on similar ideals. Just like the Maccabees, the Jewish people then wanted their rights to practice their religion in their own land. And they were ready to fight for it. And indeed, that is what this blessed country was founded on. Freedom and liberty for all. Everybody can practice whatever it is they choose to practice. If you want to be a proud Jew in the United States of America, God bless you. You want to be a Christian or a Muslim, or even if you choose to be an atheist, as long as you say, thank God I'm an atheist, that too is protected in this blessed country. We have freedom. And that's what the Jewish people wanted back then, and they fought for it. Eventually, there were miracles. They were able to retrieve the rights to their temple in Jerusalem, and they rededicated it. Every single day, there's a 7-branched candelabra that was kindled every day throughout the year in the temple in Jerusalem, made out of pure gold, representing spreading light and love and knowledge and tolerance. But unfortunately, they contaminated all of the oils, and the Jewish people were not able to kindle the menorah when they rededicated the temple. Miraculously, they found 1 jug of oil that was intact, and each jug was enough to burn for 1 night. They filled up the menorah, they lit it, and it burned 1 night. Then they had to go make new oil, had to get special olives from another part of the ancient homeland and crush it and prepare it and travel with it. That whole process took a week. And what are they going to do for a week? Well, miraculously, the next night, the menorah was still burning. And then the third night, and then the fourth, for 8 straight days till they're able to have new oil. And that's the reason why Jewish people around the world, for over 2,000 years, that's 2 millennia, commemorate the miracle of the 8 nights of Hanukkah by kindling a menorah, which now has become an 8-branched for the 8 days, to remind us of the miracles of old, both that God brings miracles when we do His will, and secondly, the military victory where the small band of Jews were able to stay steadfast to their faith. It's not just by chance that we're standing here at the police station and in public. As I mentioned, this country affords us the rights of our freedom of protection, protection of religion, and the peace officers, both here in the city of Oxnard and throughout this country, are meant to ensure that everybody has their rights as an American. And one of those is to freely practice our religion, even in public. And so here we are, in public, proudly kindling a menorah, and this is really a testament to the blessings of our country, and in our case, the blessing of our city. I want to say your name correctly. We had a city council who showed up here to join us today, and I really appreciate that. City Council Arthur Valenzuela. I got that right?
Yes.
Wow, thank you. So thank you for joining us. We have the mayor of Oxnard who will be joining our event on Thursday night at the collection, and you're all welcome there. We have information on the brochures. So we're going to begin. We're going to kindle the menorah, but I wanted to share with you a little bit of the story and the message. And lastly, obviously, the war in the Middle East is on our minds, not just for Jews, but anybody in good conscience is concerned about the loss of innocent human lives. And as we know, Israel has been under constant attack for many, many years, decades in fact. But what happened on October 7, just over 2 months ago, was a massacre. Over 1,200 Jews, men, women, and children were murdered, raped, beheaded, violated in the most disgusting and inhumane ways by evil people who don't just want to change a religion in that part of the world, but they want to eradicate every Jew around the world. And indeed, as they clearly state, America is next, and any other country that doesn't exactly follow what they have in mind. And this is a terrible thing, not only for all people around the world, but for people of all faiths, including the Muslim religion. There are over 1 billion Muslims that are peaceful, that are loving, that respect and Israel's right to exist. But Hamas and all those terrorists have to be eradicated. And it's a very, very terrible situation. Unfortunately, there's loss of life for the Palestinians as well, and that's the fault of their leaders. They hide behind their rocket launchers, etc. You all know the situation. And we'll use this opportunity here tonight to pray for them, to pray for peace, true and everlasting peace. And there's over 150 hostages that are still being held. Men, women, children, all ages are still being held as prisoners, as hostages in terrible conditions. And they must be released immediately. And the world must demand of that. You don't have to be a Jew. You don't have to be an Israeli. You have to be a human that cares about life to want to have the right thing done. And let's hope and pray that the right thing will be done. And ultimately, we'll have peace in the world. The prophet Isaiah speaks of a time when nation shall not lift a sword against another nation, and we'll have true and everlasting peace. We hope and pray for that to happen speedily. Let us all say amen. Amen. Before we kindle the menorah, I'd like to invite the 2 assistant chiefs if they want to share some words, and welcome everyone, and then we'll continue with the ceremony.
Thank you, Rabbi Love. I'd like to welcome everyone on behalf of Chief Benitez, who, as the Rabbi mentioned, wasn't able to make it this evening. We truly live in a wonderful nation where we're able to gather and express to each other our love and our differences, our diversity. And I don't want to hold up the festivities, but I do appreciate each and every one of you coming out today to show our support to our brothers and sisters and to respect each other's rights to believe what they believe in. So thank you all.
Thank you. want to ask Assistant Chief Morehouse to please kindle what we call the Torch of Unity. Now there's a trigger on this, it's not a gun. Pull it down and it shoots a fire out. Okay.
Got the child safety lock on.
Child safety lock. There we go. Perfect. Let's give a round of applause for Assistant Chief. Thank you. Now we'd like to ask Assistant Chief Williams to please kindle the center, known as the Shamish, the tallest one in the middle. We're now ready to kindle the menorah. It's my honor to call up. You're no longer, what's your title now? Corporal. Corporal Jundef, also known as Jacob or Yaakov, who actually was born in the land of Israel. And he's going to help with the kindling of the menorah. I'm going to lend him my skull cap, my kippah. And I'm going to ask Paul to get the soundtrack for the blessings. Let's take it. So, you may notice, pause for 1 second. You may notice that they're not all on yet because tonight is the 6th night. And I want to mention, remind me your name, please, officer. Deputy Ferrero from the LAPD. Sheriff Department. I got to brush up on my departments here. Thank you for joining us. He's a neighbor that lives near us, and it's nice to meet you tonight. And he helped with getting some of the extra ones ready here tonight. I appreciate that. Always ready to serve. This is a lot safer than going into places you officers need to at times. And thank you for your service, all of you, and God bless you. So each night we increase, which is a very important lesson, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We never meant to be satisfied with something good. We always want more and more. And when it comes to light, which is what the menorah represents, it represents liberty, it represents kindness, it represents knowledge, it represents love, it represents the lamp of God. The first night, one was good, but the second night we need to do a second, and so on and so forth until we fully kindle the entire menorah. So here we are the second night, and Yaakov is going to help me. We'll make the blessing and kindle. We always start with the new one first and make our way back. If you're familiar with the blessing, you can sing along. We have the karaoke tune. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto, v'tzivanu. As everyone says, Amen. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim avoteinu hayamim ha'im. Great job. applause here. There we go. Great job. And as we Jews like to say, next year in Jerusalem, stick around. We're going to have a little holiday music. At the table here, everyone's invited. We have chocolates. The one in the yellow bags are dairy. The ones that are on their own, the silver, are non-dairy. And it's customary to eat things made in oil on this holiday because of the miracle with the oil. So Jews at home have fried latkes, which is potato pancakes, and donuts. And I figured when you come to a police station, forget the latkes. So we brought donuts. Whoever would like to have these are special kosher donuts. They cost about 5 times as much if you want to. So you're welcome to enjoy. And see, we have some extra people showed up. Thank you all for coming. And let us take some of the messages of the Menorah, some of the messages of this holiday, and continue to have love and tolerance for each other as we do in this beautiful city. And God bless all of you at the Oxnard Police Department. Thank you for your service. And thank you, council member. And thank you, let me get this right now, LA Sheriff. We got it. Okay, from Malibu. Wow, not just any part of LA, right down the coast. And thank you all. God bless you. Paul, if you can hit the music. We'll put some treats out for everyone. We have some Menorah kits. If you're Jewish, you don't have a menorah at home. These are actually special menorahs that show an Israeli soldier kindling. So if you need a menorah, there's a menorah candle to take home. I'd like to recognize and give thanks to our security guard at our Chabad Jewish Center. Daniel is right here helping with the donuts. And Daniel every single day, and we have services, and we have our learning center. He keeps us safe, and he has a very good relationship with the Oxnard PD. So we thank Daniel, and we thank the Oxnard PD for keeping an eye on us. We know that God is keeping an eye on us, but he wants us to do our part as well. We also want to thank Paul, who year after year works very hard and helps set it up, and does a lot of wonderful events here. The police station, great PR. And I know last night you had a nice event, and you made a lot of children happy. And he's really dedicated. When I first pulled up, you would think, he's in a suit and all. He was cleaning up out here. I saw that. So whoever's in charge should give him a rave. Thank you, Paul. God bless you and your daughter. Please help yourself to a kosher donut and some chocolate. Yeah, folks.